I've come to encourage somebody today that you're not an accident. Your birth is no mistake or mishap. Your life is no fluke of nature. Your parents may not have planned you, but God did. God wasn't surprised by your birth, but in fact, he was expecting it. Long before you were conceived by your parents, you were conceived in the mind of God. It's not luck and it's not a coincidence that you are alive and breathing at this moment. You're alive because God wanted you here. You're here because he wanted you to do something special. The Bible says that we are fearfully and wonderfully made by the power of God. That means God planned every single detail about your body. He chose your race. He chose the color of your skin, your hair, and your nose. He even took time to count the hairs on your head. God custom made your body just the way he wanted it. He knew the gifts and the talents that you would possess and your unique personality. The Bible says, you know me inside and out. You know every bone in my body. You know exactly how I was made bit by bit, how I was sculpted from nothing. Now I want to encourage somebody tonight that God made you for a reason. He decided when you would be born and how long you would live. He planned the days of your life in advance. He chose the exact time you would be born and the exact time that you gonna die. Bible says in Psalms 139, you saw me before I was formed and scheduled every day of my life before I started to breathe. Every day was recorded in your book. God even planned where you would live. He said, I'm going to get the glory out of everything in your life. The Bible says he determined the time set for men and the exact places where they should live. Nothing in your life is guesswork. It's all for a purpose. Isn't it amazing that in spite of the circumstances of your birth or who your parents were, God had a plan when he created you? It didn't matter if your parents were poor and hardworking or if they was rich crackheads. God knew that those two individuals possessed the right genetic makeup to create the unique you he had in mind. They had the DNA that God needed to make you. And many children are unplanned by their parents, but they are not unplanned by God. But God's purpose was for you to get here and do something special. That's how much you mean to God. So no matter how impossible we see the situation we're in, or how hopeless and difficult the days ahead may seem, God sees what we don't see, and he's working the whole thing out, and he's breaking us through. Bible says in the book of Romans that God allows seasons of difficulty to stretch us. But church, it's hard for us to trust him when our world around us is going so crazy. But church, we need to learn to take our eyes off our circumstance. Do y'all hear me? We need to learn to take our eyes off the struggle. We've got to learn to take our eyes off the circumstance. And this is the season that we've got to look to Jesus. Tell somebody we got to focus on Jesus.